Miss Dempsey here. Today we're going to be doing some more work with nonfiction writing. So yesterday we did some examining of grapes and we wrote some facts about grapes and we turned those facts into a nonfiction piece of writing. There is one other fact that I totally forgot to share. I know that when grapes are processed, they can be made into other things. So if you squeeze a grape, the juice comes out and that could be made into juice that we could drink. Or if you cook down the juice from the grapes and add other ingredients, it can be turned into jelly for your toast. And one other thing that comes from grapes are raisins. Raisins are another popular snack at the Dempsey house. So today I thought that we might share, what do you know about raisins? I have a paper right here that looks like our paper from yesterday about grapes. I'm going to just put that up there. And here we're going to record some of the things that we already know about raisins. Take a moment and turn to your grown-up and share what you already know about raisins. Okay, one of the first things that I know about raisins is that they come from dried grapes. So, things we know or notice about raisins, they come from dried grapes. It was actually really interesting. So, I didn't know how the grape gets into a raisin and comes in a box at our grocery stores. So I went online and I did a little bit of research last night, and they dry them out in different ways, but one of the ways that I thought was most interesting was when they actually cut the bunches of grapes from the vine and leave them right in the fields for the sun to dry them out. So that was pretty interesting. I wanted to share that with you. I have here a box of grapes that have been turned into raisins from my pantry. And I'm going to grab a little towel and we're going to take a closer look. So before we get too far with this, I do want to share that at the grocery store, this isn't the only type of raisins you could get. Just like with grapes, there's many different kinds of varieties. So they come in different colors and different sizes, just like the grapes do. So they have these darker grapes, which might come from darker raisins that come from darker grapes. And then they have golden raisins that come from lighter colored grapes, maybe like the white grapes or green grapes. So looking closer at these, I noticed some very distinct differences between a raisin and a grape right away. But for your reference, I'm going to pull a grape out for us to do some comparing. We said that they come in different sizes and colors than the grape, than each other, just like grapes do. So I'm going to add that onto our little chart here. And when I look at a grape versus a raisin, the size is different there too. So I notice that the grape is much bigger than the raisin. And that makes sense, because if you think about it, this grape is still filled with juice and water. It hasn't dried out yet, but as it does, it shrivels up and becomes less juicy, and it turns into this little wrinkly guy. So, when I look at it, the outside looks wrinkly and bumpy. I think we're going to add that to our chart as well. There are wrinkles on the outside and it is bumpy. Just take a peek. Make sure it's not too crooked for you guys. There we go. If you have some raisins at home, you can take a look too. See if you notice anything else about the outside of your raisins. Next, I want to talk about what it feels like. I've been rolling these raisins in my fingers, and I noticed right away that they are not only squishy, which wasn't true for the grapes. The grapes were firm, but these are squishy, and they also are sticky. My fingers want to stick to each other after I've been rolling these raisins in my fingertips. So I think that's more information that we could add to this chart, is that they are squishy and they are sticky. So here we go. And then comes my favorite part, as you are well aware. I'm going to try some and talk about what they taste like. I'm not going to use the ones that we were looking at and touching and playing with in our hands. I'm going to get a fresh one to eat. They're so sticky, they're stuck in the bottom. Tricky little raisin. Okay, there, I got one. Ooh. That's very different from what I remember of eating the grapes yesterday. Right away, I noticed that it's much, much sweeter than the grape was. The grape, I remember being tart. And then the texture, how it feels in my mouth, it's not juicy, it's chewy. Like I can still feel it a little bit in my teeth. So I'm gonna add those words to our chart as well. Sweet and chewy. And there we are. So, some of the things that I noticed and know about raisins now are that they come from dried grapes. They're different colors and shapes. They have wrinkles, they're bumpy, squishy, sticky, sweet, and chewy. What other things did you know or notice about raisins? Turn to your grown-up. Okay. Now that we've explored and examined these raisins, we are going to do a little bit of writing about raisins, just like we did with our grapes yesterday. I'm going to turn this around, get a clean piece of paper. Again, the paper that we use is from the writing journal. I have sent an email to families, and it has more copies of the writing paper that you could use if you don't have any left in your writing journal at this point. So Miss Dempsey went ahead and I had drawn a picture of the raisins, and this is a box that they came in because that was a little different from the grapes, which were in a different kind of packaging. And I did some labels to help my reader. So I colored them in, and this label says raisins, and this label says wrinkles, and it has an arrow pointing to some of those wrinkles on the raisins. Okay, so for my writing today, I'm going to be telling my reader some facts about raisins. I think the most important thing for my reader to know is that they come from grapes. They're made out of dried grapes. So my first sentence is going to say, raisins come from grapes that have been dried out. So I'm still going to use a capital letter, but this time it's going to be a capital R because we're writing the word raisins. Raisins. Raisins come. So my next word, I need to leave some space in between before I write. Raisins come from, another space, want it nice and clear for my reader. And now I don't have any more room on this line for the next word. So I'm going to do a return sweep. I'm going to go to the next line Raisins come from dried. D, d. I. D. Dried out. Another space. Out. T, t, t. Raisins come from dried out grapes. Now I'm going to write grapes. I'm going to use a G, because G goes g, g for grapes. Grr, A, P, S. Raisins come from dried out grapes. There, my sentence is done. I'm going to put a period at the end to let the reader know that's the end of my sentence. Next, I want to include some facts about what raisins look like. So I am going to write about how raisins have wrinkles and that they are bumpy. They have wrinkles. Raisins come from dried out grapes. They have wrinkles. If something has wrinkles, the reader may already know that it's bumpy. So I think it's more important to include information about what it tastes like or feels like in the mouth. So instead of writing that they are bumpy, I think I'm going to change my mind and write about how they are sticky, sweet, and chewy. They, using another capital because it's a new sentence, they are sticky, and then I'm going to use something called a comma. When I write a list, a comma tells my reader that there's more information coming. So they are sticky, sweet, sweet, and chewy. Ch, ch. Ooh, that sound ch, ch. That's made by CH. You hear the ch, ch sound at the beginning of a word like the word cheese. Or when you think of the sound a train makes. Ch, ch, choo, choo, ch, CH. Chewy. Let's read what we have. Raisins come from dried out grapes. They have wrinkles. They are sticky, sweet, and chewy. Wow, that's a lot of facts about raisins. Remember, when you're writing about raisins today, you could pause the video and borrow some of the work that we did together, or you could include some other facts that we might have come up with, or you could include facts that you came up with of your own, things that you know about raisins. Happy writing! See you next time.